CBS Sports presents live flag-to-flag coverage of the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series. From Loudon, New Hampshire, the New Hampshire 200. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Loudon, where we'll have 200 miles of racing for you today. But yesterday, for the second time in as many months, a talented young racer lost his life on this speedway. It was in the early laps of Winston Cup practice. Kenny Irwin came down the back straightaway. Apparently his throttle stuck, and in a crash eerily reminiscent of Adam Petty's, slammed headlong into the turn 3 wall. The car slid along, ending on its roof. Rescue workers quickly on the scene, but little could be done. Irwin spent his first 2 seasons in Winston Cup with Robert Yates Racing, winning a pole position and Rookie of the Year honors in 1998. This season, he drove for Felix Sabates. But like most kids growing up in Indy, he dreamed of racing open wheels. Winning the USAC National Midget Championship and Rookie of the Year honors in its Sprint Car and Silver Crown divisions. NASCAR beckoned, and he came to the Craftsman Truck Series driving for Jim Herrick and Brad Doherty, winning twice, and also being named the series Rookie of the Year. Kenny Irwin was 30 years old. And as we grieve, there is a race to be run. Let's go trackside for the command.
I'm ready.
Gentlemen, start your engines.
Let's go to the starting grid and Dick Bergman.
Thanks, Mike. Today it is a somber pit area. A shaken group of people prepare in disbelief to race again against the background of yet another tragedy. The drivers' wives, their families, they worry the most. They gathered in the garage area trying to persuade each other and perhaps themselves that their man would be okay, not just in today's race, but in the many to follow. But they all know that this is motorsports, and there is danger in here and here. Kenny Irwin was a star in this series. He was well known to all of the people that you will see on television today. I spoke with many of them today. All are devastated. We at CBS knew and cared for Kenny Irwin as well, and we are all deeply saddened. But there is a race to run. Kenny Irwin will be in our thoughts and on our minds as it goes on. Terrell Shaheen.
Trying to find the words to describe the sense of loss is impossible to do. Trying to find the words to console each other and comfort each other to try to make sense out of what seems like another senseless loss is an even tougher thing to do. I spoke to the drivers this morning in the garage area, and they said for them, now the most difficult task is to find the courage that they have to summon up to now drive 200 laps around this 1-mile oval. The grieving process will have to end for a little while. Racing as a sport is a very tough thing. Today, it will be brutally tough.
Buddy Baker, Ned Jarrett, makes it a very difficult day to go racing here.
Mike, you're exactly right. Far too many times Ned Jarrett and I had to face the same thing these drivers will face today. Getting in the car after losing a very good friend to a fatality on the racetrack. But it's our sport. It's a chosen sport that we love. And these guys will deal with it today just like we have in the past. That is tough, though.
Well, it is tough, buddy, but Kenny Irwin would want this race to go on. That's the kind of fellow that he was, even though we do it with sad hearts. It's going to be a tough race for these guys, not only because of what's in their heart, but also because of this tough racetrack. There's a lot of slipping and sliding out here when the tires get heated up, and those that have their trucks set up so that they can accelerate fully off the turns are usually the ones that prevail here.
Well, let's get down to it for 200 laps and have a look at the starting lineup for today's running of the New Hampshire 200. Fifth pole of the year for veteran Joe Ruttman, and Greg Biffle has won 4 of the last 6 truck races. He's the point leader. Ken Schrader makes his second start of the year, and defending race champ Dennis Setzer, row 2. Kurt Busch, who got his first career win in Milwaukee last week in row 3 with Andy Houston, the 98 winner. Jimmy Hensley and Michael Dawkin makes his first top 10 start this year. Row 5, Rick Crawford with 8 top 10s this season, and Randy Tolsma with 2 runner-up finishes. Rookie Scott Riggs with 5 top 10s and 8 starts this year, and Brian Refner 5th at Texas and Kentucky. Terry Cook 4th at Daytona, and Bobby Hamilton the Martinsville winner. IMSA driver Rob Morgan in the top 10 at Kentucky, and Tom Carey from Orange, Massachusetts. Row 9, Lance Norrick 7th in Milwaukee, and Ricky Hendricks 6th at Colorado. 10th row, Steve Grissom, who was 4th in Milwaukee, and Marty Houston, who finished 4th at Kentucky. Then Mike Wallace, the winner at Daytona and Bakersfield, and Brad Bennett from Connecticut making his second start here. Jack Sprague, the two-time series champion, and Randy McDonald in row 12. Coy Gibbs, that's Joe Gibbs' 27-year-old son, and Carlos Contreras, who was 8th 2 weeks ago at the Glen. Then it's Lance Hooper, the West Coast star, and Steve Prescott, the former Pro Truck champ from Maine. Robbie Thompson, the Canadian, and Rick Corelli, who was 3rd here 3 years ago. Ryan McGlynn from Pennsylvania makes his 3rd start of the year, and Andy Gensman, a New Hampshire rookie, as is Wayne Edwards and Jim Englebright from California.
Manufacturers breakdown today. In today's field, there'll be 17 Chevrolets, 9 Fords, and 8 Dodges. Ford holds the edge over Chevrolet with 7 wins to their 5.
And never mind these statistics, it is a perfect Chamber of Commerce day here in New Hampshire. A beautiful day to go racing.
There are 34 trucks starting today's race. They go 200 laps. That's a little over 211 miles. The purse over $455,000. The fuel window 70 to 75 laps. The race record was set back in 1998 at over 104 miles an hour by Andy Houston.
Track description. It's a 1 mile, little over a mile track, as a matter of fact. 12-degree banking in the turn, straightaway flat. Straightaway is 1,500 feet.